Okay, today is September 6th, 2017. This is a part 2 update. We're looking at the hurricane map, and since this morning's video, we've got a hurricane right here, Katia, Category 1 with 80-mile-per-hour winds. Pressure's dropped quite a bit in the last 6 hours. It's down at 989 millibar, moving east-southeast at 2 miles per hour. And of course, Irma's right here. This storm is still steady with 185 mile per hour winds. It's changed a little bit. It's moving to the northeast, and it has a central pressure of 916 millibar. That's risen just a little bit. I think it was down at 914 or 912 here about 4 hours ago. And then we have the movement to the west-northwest, 16 miles per hour. So this storm is moving along pretty fast. And then Hurricane Jose formed today as well, and that storm is a Category 1, 85-mile-per-hour winds, and this storm is moving west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. All right, so let's look at the maps here real quick. There's a couple of interesting things about this. Is Katia, I guess it is. This storm looks like it's being squashed with high pressure. If you look at the water vapor map here over the 7.5 hour loop, we can see quite a bit of diminishment. The color change right here. There was some rotation in this area this morning, and it looks like there still is a little bit of rotation right here. But the bulk of the moisture here looks like it's being evaporated. And if you look at this map, let's look at the infrared map, this same storm. We can see exactly what's happening here. This storm is being targeted with a very broad area of high pressure. And I'm not sure how exactly they do this. Maybe this is a laser-based. This could be done with laser, these high-pressure installations, or microwave. The superheating is done probably with microwave, but what we're seeing here is a tremendous amount of diminishment and evaporation in this area. And I wanted to point that out because there has not been much change to Irma over the last 2 days. It was 2 nights ago that storm strengthened from 145 mile per hour winds all the way to what we have now, which is 185 mile per hour sustained winds with 225 mile per hour gusts. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is a very strange. We see a lot of diminishment. This center has been split up. You can see 2 areas there, and a lot of evaporation here on the outside. We'll keep an eye on that. Again, there's the water vapor map for Katia. All right, now let's look next at the visible light map. Do see some counterclockwise rotation here. There's also a very strong flow out to the northeast. All right, now we can see that flow here in the eastern U.S. water vapor map. We have a low pressure system right here, which has a transmitter on it. We can see the evaporation pattern right here as this high-speed flow moves down and around that low pressure vortex. Everything is evaporating right here where that transmitter is working. And that is separating the tail of this hurricane right here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's separating this moisture from the center of this low. And also we have high pressure developing right here in this area. We can see that happening as well. And this is Irma clipping along right here. It's coming up to the west-northwest right here. And we can see the high pressure setting up. And so that will steer this, coupled with the high pressure at the south side of this storm, will help to steer this to the north. We may see this storm move along the eastern seaboard. It may skirt the Florida coast. But based on what we're seeing here, it looks like these weather controllers are doing some drastic measures to wipe this storm out. We can see all that evaporation occurring right there. We've seen many hurricanes in the East Pacific with these characteristics. there is a variety of techniques being used besides the superheating, the pinpoint superheating process, and just installing high pressure adjacent to a storm. They can install high pressure right on top of a storm, and I think that's what's happening right here because of the incredible amount of diminishment in this 7.5 hour loop. All right, if we look at the water vapor map once again, we can see that diminishment right here. There is still some intensity in these two areas, but over that period of time, again, we're seeing a tremendous amount of diminishment. All right, let's take a look next here at the Caribbean map, the water vapor map. Here's Irma. And we see high pressure right through here. And also right through this area. We actually have some clockwise rotation coming off this side of the storm. Everything should be moving counterclockwise. This is a giant low pressure system. And we're actually seeing some clockwise rotation here on the outer bands and all the way around the back side. We've got some black filling out right in this area. And we see a little blast pattern right through the southwestern edge of this storm. But we can see the high pressure filling out in this area, this outline, this big black void right here is all high pressure. And so I think they're going to try to steer this storm away from Katia, which is this new hurricane right over here in the Gulf of Mexico, Category 1. Also, we have Jose right behind Irma, and this is a Category 1 storm. This storm is also being targeted very very oddly. This storm is exhibiting the same characteristics as Katia over here in the Gulf. That is to say that this is breaking down. We'll take a look at that on the floater map here in a second. This storm has been targeted. The center has been split up. There is some rotation here. We'll take a look at that. The eyewall on this storm is very large, 28 miles across, I believe it is. That equates to about 616 square miles. This eyewall here, that's as big as downtown Detroit. There was an article on Drudge, the Drudge report this morning, talking about the size of that eyewall, which is about 28 miles across, according to the news. So that's a huge area. And of course, the central pressure equates to about 13.2 psi. If you figure 912 millibar or some, 914 millibar, and compute that out, that's around 13.2 psi, if I remember it correctly. So that's a very low pressure. And that's what's causing the wind. All right, let's look at some of these other maps. We saw those. Saw that. Here's the floaters map for, this is Jose. Take a look here at Jose. Jose is being targeted. And look at the evaporation up here. We have counterclockwise rotation. This is the center of the storm right there. But this storm is just dissipating. It's amazing, the size of it, over that 7.5 hour loop. Has the same characteristics as Katia over there in the Gulf. Look here in the visible light map. You see the photoshopping, the day-to-night transition. We have the photoshopping. But the overall size of the storm really shrinks down here in this loop. So this storm is being targeted, and I think the main mission here these weather controllers want to do is they want to run Irma into Florida. They may do that, or they just may steer it back out into the Atlantic. We don't know yet. It's entirely in their hands. These terrorists controlling our weather have complete control over what's going to happen. Now here's the floaters map for Katia right here. This is the Mexico coastline, I believe it is right here, and rather the Gulf. This is the Gulf of Mexico right here, and we can see the diminishment here over the 7.5 hour loop. And here's the visible light map. You see the photoshopping, but look at the diminishment here over that time. So I think that this storm, as well as Jose, are both being targeted, and we'll just keep a close eye on this. Okay, so we've got 3 hurricanes in the Gulf, or rather in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, total of 3 hurricanes, and it's going to be quite a show to see what happens, particularly when we have this low pressure here. We've got this tail, everything is being isolated. We can see the high pressure firming up right here. Let's go find that map. Here we go, right here. This is what I wanted to look at again. Right here we can see all this high pressure. Because one thing for sure, we don't want this storm mixing with another hurricane over here. This pattern here could pull, it's pulling a lot of that hurricane moisture right over in the direction of this hurricane. So we've got high pressure firming up, and it may be that this storm will just hook right offshore of Florida and move back out along with this flow here, this flow pattern, which is, let's find that other map once again, right here. We'll pull it right back out into the North Atlantic. Hopefully that's what these people will do if they have any decency. I think the world's watching what's happening here. If not here, they're watching it on TV. Okay, so that's the report. That's the update. And we'll do another one tomorrow. That's it.